What's up guys, it's Malik back here, and today I got some really awesome Mega Construx news for you guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at some new Call of Duty and Pokemon sets. So let's start things off with Call of Duty here. So this set is the Call of Duty World War II Infantry car. This is based on the new Call of Duty World War II game, but that isn't really as special as it does sound, because we've been getting Call of Duty World War II sets for a little while now. Now I'm not sure if any of these minifigures here are actual named characters from the game, but from what I can tell they're not. This guy in this trench coat here might be, but I think he's probably just like a high-ranking officer or something. The Jeep here looks really awesome. We already got a look at this Jeep back in New York Toy Fair, and it looks awesome there, and it looks awesome here again in these official images. Honestly, I don't have too many complaints about this Jeep. It looks really awesome. I'm really digging this gun attached on the side right there with the ball joint. I think that's pretty neat how they did that. Everything here looks pretty detailed. The size looks just about right as well compared to the figures. And it's nice that we get a fabric piece as well that goes over top of it. Overall, it's just a great looking Jeep. And if you guys are into Call of Duty World War II, then I definitely recommend picking this set up. Now let's get into our new Pokemon sets. There's a bunch of images here, so start off with the smallest ones. And these are these Pokeball sets. So each of these sets are really small. They come with one relatively realistically scaled Pokeball, and I guess inside that Pokeball will be the pieces to make the Pokemon. This first set here is of Abra, and from what I can tell, he looks pretty cool. I think they did his figure pretty well. He looks really accurate to how he looks like in the game. His feet to me are a little bit weird with those pegs, but I understand why they went with that. And the headpiece here looks great as well. I'm not sure if those eyes and those nose features are going to be printed parts, or are going to have a bit of texture to them and be a little bit lifted off the rest of the head mold. But nonetheless, the figure does look great, the colors are awesome, and if you're a fan of this Pokemon, then you definitely should pick this one up. Our next Pokeball set here is Magikarp, and he looks pretty cool as well. The great part about all these Pokemon sets is that they're based off the first generation of Pokemon, so I actually know all of these Pokemon, which is pretty great. Honestly, after you go past Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I'm going to be completely lost, but for now I do know all these sets. But yeah, looking at Magikarp here, he looks pretty awesome. Again, I'm really liking his print here. These prints are really simple, yet they're super effective in getting the look of the character across, and I think they did a great job here. I'm not sure if that tail piece is a new mold there. To me, it looks a little bit new, but I could be wrong on that. This figure honestly looks like it's been made up out of a few pieces here, so because of that, I'm guessing these Pokeball sets are going to be really cheap. Probably as much as a blind bag figure. Honestly, that's how much they should be worth, considering what you get. Our next set here is Machop, and he looks pretty cool as well. Again, really nice printing on the headpiece there. I do like how they use those little tooth pieces on the top of his head there to give him those 3 spikes that he actually has in game. This figure is even more simple than the last ones. As you can see on his body there, they don't even use any different colored pieces. You just get a bunch of light gray parts here, and I think that's fine because that's actually what he looks like in game. Honestly, I think the color should be a little bit more blue than this though, because from what I remember in the game, he was like this really light bluish gray, and I think that would have made the figure look even more accurate. But nonetheless, this figure does look great as well. He does also have some extra printing on his hands there, which are pretty nice. And yeah, overall, another great fig. On to our final Pokeball set for this wave, we have Zubat, and I think this is the best one of them all, at least the most accurately portrayed. Because for those of you that actually know Pokemon figures, this looks exactly like Zubat does in the game. I think they did a great job here. The only thing that looks a little bit off here is those little peg holes on the end of his wings there. But again, that just shows this is actually brick built and not a huge custom made part. So again, that's fine. That's not even a complaint about this figure. It looks really awesome. I think they did a great job on Zubat here. And he looks just like he does in the actual game. Now let's take a look at some of the bigger sets here. Starting off with some of our second evolution starters here. So here we have our second evolution of Charmander, which is Charmeleon. And again, he looks really awesome here. I'm really glad they went with a different color of orange here from what they use with Charmander, because again, Charmeleon in the game is really red, and I think they did a great job here as well. Honestly, the rest of the set is super extra. I'm not sure what you're actually going to do with that. Maybe all of these starter sets connect together and make one little battle scene. One awesome thing about this, we do get a regular Pokeball there on the side, except that's scaled down to actually fit with the figure, so that's pretty nice to see as well. For our next second evolution set here, we have Ivysaur, and he looks pretty sweet. I do like the expression they have on his face there. He looks pretty awesome. The printing on the legs is really nice as well. Mega Construx really didn't have to include that, but it's nice that they did. The vine pieces here looks pretty sweet. I'm not sure if those are going to be posable or if they're going to be hard plastic molds, but if they're posable, that'd be pretty awesome. I'm also really digging the small leaf pieces they have coming out of the center of the bulb there. It looks pretty awesome. And yeah, Ivysaur just looks pretty great. For the terrain piece here, we get a bunch of green shrubbery here, built up using some small pieces, and it looks pretty nice. Just gives this figure a really nice backdrop to be posed on. And with this set as well, we get a really nice basic Pokeball that's scaled to the actual figure, just like with the last set as well. But yeah, it's pretty much going to do it for this Ivysaur set. Now let's jump over to our next second evolution figure here. So this right here is War Turtle, and this is probably the worst figure out of all of them. I'm not saying he's that bad, but just compared to the rest of the figures, he is pretty bad. Honestly, I think his stomach piece here sticks out way too far, and it just kind of makes him look a little fat. And his leg pieces here are stuck out way too wide, and it makes him look super awkward and unrealistic to the game. but honestly, with a little bit of custom work, you could probably fix this up and make it look a lot better. I also don't really like the color they use here for Wartortle. I think they should have went with a little bit of a lighter blue here instead of this like really light purple they went with. I think blue would have looked a lot more realistic to what he actually looks like in the game. His tail build looks pretty nice though, and I'm guessing his shell there will be printed. Hopefully it is. But yeah, overall this figure is not too great, and I'd only pick this up if you really like Wartortle. But if you don't, then you can definitely skip out on this one. Again, just like with the last set, we get a terrain piece here with the element of the Pokemon that's included, so here you have water. And again, it's nothing too special, but I guess it just gives you a really nice place to pose your figure on. Just like the last set, we get another basic Pokeball here as well, except this one is also scaled to the figure just like the last set. And yeah, this is going to do it for our second evolution starter sets. Now let's get into some of our battle sets here. This first one is Charmander and Squirtle. This set I think is pretty good. Honestly, Charmander and Squirtle's builds are super similar here. They're almost identical, just with different prints and different colors used. But I think it's fine because they are relatively the same shape, and I think both figures look really awesome, and they're really well scaled here. I do really like that mini flame piece they added to this line. I really like that small new flame piece they added on the end of Charmander's tail there. It looks pretty awesome. Squirtle looks really cool as well. Again, really nice prints across both figures. Looking at the build here, again, nothing special. I do like how they gave us these fire elements and water elements hovering in the air, so it almost looks like they can be fighting across each other if you pose Squirtle on the right and Charmander on the left. Then you can get a really nice battle scene going. And yeah, honestly, I think these would look great on display. Onto our next starter battle pack here, we get Bulbasaur and Pikachu. Bulbasaur looks pretty awesome. I do really like how they include those new vine pieces. They look pretty awesome. I'm not sure if they're going to be movable or made of any like sort of rubbery plastic, but from what I can tell, they're made out of regular plastic here. Again, really awesome prints here. I'm really liking his mouth and eyes on this figure. One thing I think is pretty neat is that they also included prints on the legs as well. I think that's a little bit unnecessary, but again, it just adds even more detail, and I think that's really awesome. Pikachu here looks a little bit weird in my opinion. I think his body looks a little bit square, but for what they're working with here, I think they did a pretty great job. Honestly, I probably would have preferred it if this tail here on Pikachu didn't have studs on it. I think that would have looked a lot better. But again, there's no real way of accomplishing that with Mega Bloks' parts, and I guess it's better than making a custom piece for it. Pikachu's Thunderbolt Blast here looks really awesome too as well. Again, these new element pieces we're getting are really sick. Hopefully we'll be seeing those in other themes as well, because again, you can use these parts for a lot of different things. The build here looks really nice as well. The tree looks pretty good. Again, it's just really awesome to have a place to pose your figures and look really nice. Now let's move on to some of the really large sets here. Starting things off with Charizard. We already got a look at this figure a little while back, and he looks really awesome. It really looks like they packed in a lot of small parts into this figure and made him really durable and really accurate here. I think the body, the legs, the arms, and everything is just proportioned really nicely. Again, I wasn't too big of a fan of the headpiece there. I just thought the mouth looked a little bit strange. But looking at it from more of a top angle here, I think it looks a little bit better than it did before. And yeah, overall, Charizard looked really awesome. That flame piece on the end of his tail is really nice. It has a more of a yellow and red color blended into that orange translucent piece there, which is really nice. For the build in this set, we just get a bunch of rocks. It's really nice that they included a translucent piece to hold him up so you can actually make it look like he's flying. Again, that's really awesome when Mega Bloks does that. And in this set, for the actual scaled Pokeball here, we get a Great Ball. Again, it's really awesome to see these different variants of Pokeballs that we're going to be getting in these different sets. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do for Charizard. He looks really awesome. Great prints again on his eyes. Super simple, yet super effective. And yeah, overall Charizard looks really accurate and really great. And onto our final set here. This is Gyarados, and this is the largest set that you can get from this wave. And he looks really awesome. This thing would just look super badass displayed on a shelf or something like that. This looks super nice here. I think Mega Bloks did a great job with this figure. I really think they captured the look of Gyarados here really well, especially with the colors they use here. This blue looks really accurate to what it looks like in-game, and the tan just accents that really nicely here as well. They did a great job with the head mold here, using a bunch of different small parts and whatnot to make up the head. It looks really awesome. I'm really digging all these little fin pieces they got across his body in the white plastic there. I think those look pretty sweet. We have printing on the eyes there. Again, super simple yet super effective. I'm really digging the printing they've been using for this line so far. For the rest of the build in this set, we just get a little terrain piece with some water. And again, I think that's super awesome, just so you have somewhere to pose Gyarados here. And it looks really cool posed up like this, just like he looks in-game as well. For the minifig scale Pokeball in this set, we get an Ultra Ball. So again, with these bigger sets here, I think they're just going to be giving us more rarer and rarer Pokeballs for us to collect. And I think that's a great idea by Mega Bloks, and a great way to implement different types of Pokeballs into the sets here. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this Gyarados set. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to do it for this entire video. There's your look at all the new Pokemon and Call of Duty sets coming out this summer. So guys, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about all these new sets. Let me know if you're going to be picking any of these up. And let me know which ones your favorites are. My favorite has got to be that Gyarados figure. I think it looks really awesome. And I'm probably actually going to pick that one up as well. And yeah guys, as always, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Mega Construx and LEGO news, make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of that. And yeah guys, that's pretty much going to do it for me, and I'll see you all in the next one.